The flight to Nigeria felt longer than I expected. I kept staring out the window, wondering what I'd say if I found my father. Would he recognize me? Would he even want to see me? When the plane landed in Lagos, the warm air hit my face. It smelled like dust, fuel, and roasted corn from the street, different from the cold, quiet air of Ohio. Everything was louder here. The people, the traffic, the colors. But for some reason, it felt like home. I took a small taxi and showed the driver the only address I had, one written at the corner of the letter I found in the attic. It was in a place called Surulere. The streets were busy, children ran barefoot, and women sold fruits on wooden tables. As we drove, my heart beat fast. What if this was all a mistake? When we reached the address, the house was small and old, painted brown, with flowers growing by the window. An older woman opened the gate. She looked at me strangely, like she was seeing a ghost. "Good afternoon, Ma," I said quietly. "I'm looking for Mr. Samuel Okoye." Her lips trembled. "Who are you?" she asked. I took out the photo, the one of my mother holding me. "I'm his son," I said. "Johnson." The woman gasped and held her chest. Tears filled her eyes. Then she whispered, "You look just like him." She told me her name was Aunt Grace, my father's elder sister. She invited me in, gave me water, and held my hand like I was her own child. When I asked about my father, her face grew sad. She said he was alive, but not the same. After my mother died, he got involved in a business that went wrong. He trusted the wrong people. He lost everything: money, friends, even hope. When he tried to find me, he was threatened. He stopped talking to everyone. Now, he lived alone in a small village in Anambra State. I didn't know whether to cry or smile. I had come all this way, and he was still out there. 2 days later, I took a long bus ride east with Aunt Grace. The roads were rough, but I didn't care. Each mile felt like a step closer to the truth. When we arrived, the sun was setting. The village was quiet: red earth roads, green trees, children playing with old tires. Aunt Grace led me to a small house with a rusted roof. She knocked softly. A man opened the door. His hair was gray, his eyes tired. He looked at me for a long moment. Then his hands began to shake. He whispered my name. "Johnson, my son." Before I knew it, we were both crying. He pulled me into his arms like he had been waiting forever. He told me everything that night. How my mother had fallen sick when I was a baby. How he gave me to the Parkers to protect me when his life was in danger. How he tried to get me back, but things got out of control. He said he never stopped searching, but no one would tell him where I was. "I thought I lost you forever," he said. I didn't blame him. For the first time, I saw the pain behind all those secrets. He wasn't perfect, but he was still my father. I stayed with him for weeks. He showed me old photos of my mom, our family, our village. I learned the stories I never knew. I learned the language, the food, the laughter. It was like discovering a part of myself that had been asleep all these years. One evening, as we sat outside watching the sunset, he said something I'll never forget. "Son, greatness isn't about where you live or what you have. It's about knowing who you are and never letting anyone hide that from you." Those words stayed in my heart. When I returned to America months later, I was different. I was no longer the boy who wondered where he belonged. I was the boy who climbed into the attic, opened the locked door of his past, and found his truth. And now, whenever I see a closed door or hear a strange sound above me, I don't feel afraid, because I know sometimes the things we fear most are just waiting to show us who we really are. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the interesting part.